let's talk about cannabis and cannabinoids, and most importantly, the endocannabinoid system. Can you share what the endocannabinoid system is and why it's important for everyone, mammals, human beings, vertebrates?
Anybody with a vertebra.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of slimy fish that have endocannabinoid system. Well, I've kind of changed how I do this explanation.
Great.
We're going to draw this into, we're going to exocannabinoids that are external to our body, external cannabinoids. It could be from a plant, could be from hemp, could be from a laboratory. And then endocannabinoids are cannabinoids that we make. So first, let's talk about the endocannabinoid system. The cannabis, there's new studies with carbon dating that cannabis is 23 million years old, 23 million years old. And this is one of the reasons that I've been changing more to acid molecules, which we'll be talking about. Man only had control of fire 100,000 years ago. So from 23 million years ago up until 100,000 years ago, there was tons of cannabis around and early versions of cannabis, but they could not heat it. And if they're not able to heat it, they couldn't get THC, they couldn't get CBD, they would get THCA, CBDA, CBGA, THCVA, all the acid forms. So once that, a couple of years ago, we've actually never talked about it this way, that this has been going on for 23 million years, being very, very premature vertebrates. So we have a system inside of us, just like we have a nervous system, we have a venous system, arterial system, we have an endocannabinoid system. And the term endo meaning internal, cannabinoids, because these molecules that we make, hundreds of them, and receptors that we have for these molecules, whether they're part of the endocannabinoid system or the exocannabinoid system, which we'll talk about in a minute. So the endocannabinoid system is 1.2 billion years old. So we're talking about a receptor and a set of plants that go back possibly 2 billion years, but anyway, 1 billion, but a very, very, very long time ago. And how anybody can be concerned that there's something intrinsically harmful about cannabis. I mean, you'd have to ask yourself, what's the last clinical trial that's been done to prove that tomatoes are safe? I don't think, I looked. There are no studies on tomatoes, none, not one. And there's a bunch of studies on cannabis. So now let's go, that's the endocannabinoid system, which is always working on its own, but sometimes becomes a little deficient. And then we call it an endocannabinoid deficiency. And then we have to bring in, now I should have a big sign, the exocannabinoids. So the exocannabinoids are cannabinoids that are made outside of the body. They include molecules like CBD, THC, CBD acid, the raw form of CBD, THC acid, which is turning out to be an incredibly important molecule in oil, and a total of about 120 major cannabinoids, a couple hundred terpenes, which are the smell molecules, but they're not there for the smell. They're there because that smell actually does something. Like, have you ever wondered, I mean, if I ask people what fruit that they've picked up and smelled in their life, by far it's a citrus fruit, and usually it's a lemon. And so the question is, why do we all smell lemons? Because limonene, which is a terpene in a lemon, hits our CB1 or cannabinoid 1 receptor, just like a tiny, tiny, tiny THC dose. So a tiny, tiny happiness. And that's why we have lemon cleaners. It's not a coincidence, just because it makes us happier. The lemon scents in the cars. I don't know anybody who doesn't like a lemon scent. So those are some of the exocannabinoids we're talking about so far, the cannabis ones. But there's also hemp-based, cannabinoids, and there's also cannabinoids that are made in the laboratory. What they have in common, at least at this point in time, is that they don't have those hundreds of terpenes and flavonoids and plant waxes. They basically have a small amount of CBD, a tiny amount of THC, and tiny, tiny amounts of terpenes. I mean, nobody's gone up to a typical industrial hemp plant and say, that smells great. It just doesn't. So the CBD products that are out there everywhere, I mean, everywhere, are generally Chinese-based, hemp products that are generally not what it says in the bottle, often have heavy metals, and it's just not very effective. To anybody who's watching this who's tried a CBD product that they got at the local grocery store, it's not the same. Don't give up on CBD because single molecule doesn't help. So that's a general idea.
Hi, John Malanca here with United Patients Group. I hope you've enjoyed our videos. Please click like as well as subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Also, follow us on Twitter at Patients Group and on Facebook at United Patients Group, as well as for our podcast. Please click the link in the description below. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.